Introducing the JK Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the JK Podcast. We are here with another episode. It's been a little while, and we're back with an awesome guest we had last time. One of my favorite episodes. Just the conversation we had stuck with me after, and I hope this one helps. So, Coby, how you doing today, man?
What's up, dude? I'm doing really good.
Really good.
I've made tons of progress since the last time I've been on. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
excited. If you want to pick my brain, have a conversation, I'm just happy to be here.
Oh yeah, last time we talked, it was about 7 months ago, and I think over just 7 months, like I've made a lot of progress, and I think everyone has that I've known. I've talked with so many different people like recently that I've already talked to, and to see how they've like changed is nuts. It's like crazy to see the progress that can happen in just like I mean 7 months is a long time, but like I mean still it's crazy. So, what did you learn over the past couple of months? What's different about you from the last time we talked?
So I think a big thing that I've learned, at least when it comes to content creation, is not to scream at the camera and instead talk to the camera.
It's
Because I think
fair.
last time we spoke, I just like I look back at my old content. I mean, it's how every content creator thinks. But
All right.
when I first started, I would just scream and like yell for no reason. And it's like, dude, relax. The mic is right in front of you. You don't have to scream and yell. Like you could just talk. Um,
Yeah.
I feel like I've learned that. I've learned a lot more how to edit. I've learned a lot more how to market, how to promote. Because
Hmm.
the issue that I had before was before I even had. I'm not saying I have a big following, but before I even had the following that I have now, I was already promoting things before doing the social media. So I did things in reverse. So now I'm kind of
Mm.
playing catch up, but I'm starting to get there. I like my
Right.
new style of content. Instead of, like I said, instead of screaming, "Hey, you need to do this," instead talking to them, having a,
Right.
showing some sort of emotion, and then, really being able to convey my thoughts that I have, because, my thoughts are everywhere. So as long as
Mhm.
I can do something to get my point across in a way that other people can understand it, whether it's an emotion, whether it's an action, or no matter what the case may be, then other than that, I have a whole bunch of projects I have planned. So I'm super excited for that.
Nice, man. Yeah. I've realized content has changed a lot over, half a year. And, with my content, I was doing the same thing. I would be in my gym and I'd just be like, you need to get your fucking life together, like that type of shit. And I was like, maybe I should settle it down a little bit more. I don't know. I don't know if that's
Mhm.
the right message because I feel like that, you know, I think a lot of that sparked with Andrew Tate and that kind of content that was born, the kind of yelling at you type of thing. Um, but I've kind of seen the content. I've realized like people just want someone that like delivers the point to them calmly
Mhm.
and in a manner that they can understand because I mean sure screaming at someone might motivate them but like they're not going to take anything away from that. They're going to be like yeah amped up and then what happens
Exactly.
next. So I mean
Well,
yeah it's so interesting to see how it's changed.
and another thing as well is, at least like why I'm liking the direction that my content is going, is it has some form of originality, whether it's like
Right.
stock footage that I'm doing, or it's random quotes or whatever. It's not just the basic thing that you see on your For You page all the time. Now, sure, there's people who
Right.
do almost the exact same type of content that I do, but
Mhm.
it's more personalized because it's all like it's my own footage, it's my own style of editing, and it's my this and that. And so when you look at what everybody else is posting, or the average person, to have that difference, like, okay, well, what makes you you? Like with
Mhm.
me, it's create your existence. It's my brand.
Mhm.
No one else has create your existence, and so
Yeah.
I mean they might, but it's like formulated differently. So the
Yeah.
fact that I have what I have, I have a really good foundation that I've laid out. I've already achieved a lot in the past 7 months, and what I'm about to do is going to be even crazier. So I'm just super happy and just thankful for literally everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome to see because your content is very original. I can tell. I've watched the videos and I can see that it's like it's not chopped up, It's not like chopped up into a bunch of different clips. It's like just you speaking from the heart. And That's something rare nowadays. I've tried, when I try to schedule podcasts, and by the way, but to the people watching, this may or may not be the reason why we haven't got an episode out so fast, um but I'll message people, of large following, small following, and it's interesting because you could see and tell like who's actually passionate about this topic and who's not. And I'm not going to name the person, but I messaged one person, for example. They had around like 56K or something, um, and I messaged them and like I'm like, hey, we're gonna talk about this. It's to help people that are in the youth that are trying to better themselves. It's an educational thing, like this is. And guy goes back and he's like, how many viewers and how many people have you talked to in the past? I'm like, I get that. Yeah, it'd be good to see who you've talked to, but like, so I messaged him and he says, I don't know any of those people, and then he left me on red. And I was like, all right,
Wow.
man, my bad. But he does a different kind of content like that, more screaming kind of thing, and he's doing well. But but you can tell because I've talked to people who somewhat have an ego, and they're not necessarily really passionate about this. They're just saying it for the views, and they're following an algorithm because the algorithm blew them up, and now they're just following what got them there. And I've talked to people who cares that they're like, I don't give a shit about this, about my following, about, I don't care. I'm here to deliver educational kind of things. And it's a massive divide there. And I say this because I think people need to also understand how to recognize original content from non-original content, or not original content, but I mean like just made up. Like there's so many people on social media. I think we talked about this last time, that are faking everything. They're lying about all this shit that they don't have and saying that they have it. And that just, to everyone, especially in a young generation that's trying to do something, they see all that and they're like, "Damn, I'm broke. I have no girlfriend. I have no future." It just completely deteriorates their confidence. Um, so it's good to see the passion from an actual guidance from like yourself and many other creators that are trying to deliver educational points to help them get to where they want to go instead of just making up some bullshit.
Mhm.
So
And
yeah,
that's the thing as well, is when you get people who do things like that, it just
hmm,
comes from a state of insecurity,
right,
or either a state of insecurity, or they just want to get a bunch of views, which translates into
yeah,
money, which also comes from a state of lack of comes from a state of insecurity.
hmm,
And the thing is like with me is I say publicly all the time, I don't have a lot of money. I'm just a random 19-year-old kid. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just having fun with it and trying to,
right,
I'm obviously trying to make money. Like that's the point of anybody who has a business,
yeah,
but that's not the main goal. It's that money that I make goes right back into reinvesting into how can I improve my content? How can I help more, a wider range of people? What can I possibly do to help a bigger audience? And that is my goal with what it is that I do, because you have all these people, they want money so they can buy cool things, so they can buy material objects, so they can do this. They say, dude, just relax. It's about the intention that you have. As long as you have
yep,
pure intentions, you can't lose. And
yeah,
I feel like that, I mean, humbly speaking, that's why that's why I'm where I'm at now. That's why I, not lying, I rent a house, I have an three bedroom, two bathroom house to myself, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity. And I have everything that I need. I have unlimited energy. That's my biggest strength. And I will say as well, I've learned how to control that compared to 7 months ago. How I was about the screaming and yelling. I could
hmm,
scream and yell all day, but I've learned to like control it.
yeah, yeah,
um, I have all the food that I could ask for. Well, I mean, I don't have a lot of food, but I have enough that I need. I
yeah,
don't greed. I have
yeah,
drinking water. I have drinks. It's like I really can't complain. So
yeah,
whenever, especially if you're wanting to do content creation, you're wanting to get into business, entrepreneurship. If you want even just improving your body or whatever it is, as long as you have pure intentions, you're going to see results. And that all. Let's say you're wanting to lose weight and you're wanting to get shredded, right? As long as your intention is to do that and not to skip workouts, just try to get good lighting for a gym picture. As long as you stay consistent and you have that pure intention, you're giving it your all, you can't lose. You can only gain. But A lot of people, they want quick results. They're and just go straight for the gold instead of doing what it takes to get there.
Right. Yeah, and like you were saying, I've heard this somewhere as well from there's this channel, I forgot the name. I think it's like I think it's called School of Hard Knocks. I don't remember. But they're on Instagram and they go to people and they're like, "How much money you made?" Da, 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 and they tell their business, they give a little piece of advice. I think one of them said that if your intention is to just, try and like just get the results like this that fast and you're not actually passionate about the thing, you're not going to go anywhere. And I think you mentioned that last time I posted a clip about it and you were like if your goal is just to make money, you're not going to make it because you need to have the intention first. If you're not passionate about what you're doing, you're not going to get to that point. And many people say, all the time, it's a great saying that like if you work at something that you're passionate and it becomes your job, you don't have to work a day in your life. And it's just like finding that thing that you're passionate about, finding that thing that you really want to do with your life and working at it. It just like it that's like amazing. It's an amazing feeling because you're like, I love doing this. You don't hate doing it. There might be some days that you don't like doing it, but most of the time you're going to be happy. Um, so it's important for people to find that and to be true to their intention and why they're trying to do this, why they want to achieve these certain things. And yeah, it's truly part of the journey.
And then another thing as well, especially, let's say if you're viewing this right now, and you're somebody who watches my content or you watch his content, right? No matter what you watch, if you see somebody being successful in one thing, that doesn't mean that you need to jump on the bandwagon and then immediately do that.
Right.
Figure out what you enjoy doing. What passion do you have? Is it lifting? And if it is lifting, is it you enjoy lifting or you like the ego that it gives to you? Which one is it? Because that's going to be a big deciding factor.
Mm-hmm.
If you enjoy doing X thing, then yeah, have fun and then create a business out of it. But I'll use drop shipping for example. A lot of people, they buy into that false reality that you can get rich quick off of doing something that everybody else is doing. Because at the end of the day, if everyone else is going to get rich off of doing one thing, then everybody's going to do it, which means that not everybody, it's going to become too saturated, which means that not everyone can do it. So
Yep.
let's say drop shipping, for example. If you see all these people, oh yeah, you buy my course, then I'll teach you how to do drop shipping, blah blah blah, this and that. It's almost guaranteed going to be a lie. Now, the content and the advice that they give may be good. It may not be bad or a scam, but at the end of the day, you're not going to be as successful as them if it is not your passion. The reason why these people who you see online are winning all the time is because they have a genuine passion for what it is that they do, or they just have money beforehand where they have a whole team working for them. It's one or
Mm-hmm.
the other. Nobody is like, okay, I don't know anything about this. I'm not passionate about it, but other people are doing it, so I'm going to do it and then get rich and successful off of it. It just
Mm-hmm.
doesn't happen.
Yeah. What do you think about all the courses popping up too? Like all over the place on Instagram, someone's selling a course.
So here's the thing, right? I don't like it because now anytime anyone hears the word course, they automatically think it's a scam. I have a course myself, create your legacy. It's an online course that I have, but
Mm-hmm.
nothing that I talk about is about how to get rich quick. It's all about
Mm-hmm.
how to find your vision, how to execute on your goals, how to get stuff done.
Yeah.
How to develop a good mindset. Also, it provides a community to collaborate with everybody around you. That's what create your legacy is about. But a lot of these other courses, they are just get rich quick. How can I do this? How can I do that? And at the end of the day, I mean, people are making these courses for a reason. People are going to make these get rich quick courses because people buy into them. They wouldn't make them or promote them if people didn't buy it. So you can't hate the people. You can only hate the game.
Yeah.
So I I I don't like it, but at the end of the day, you have to figure out how to navigate around it. How to tell other people, hey guys, probably not going to be the best way to become successful or obtain a lot of wealth.
Yeah.
Uh, and
Yeah.
and sometimes, no matter what you tell people, they want to blindly believe a false reality. They're going to go head. They're going to dive in head first, and they're not going to ask any questions because that's what they've been persuaded.
Yeah. Especially with all the courses popping up, it's also flooding the courses that actually have good intention because there's so many courses that are just there to grab your money and they might not have an actual like plan around it. They might not actually be trying to help people. Really, they're just trying to get a quick buck from you. And it's sad to see because there's a lot of legit courses that are actually helpful and that are actually trying to guide people. And a lot of those are just like just random drop shipping shit and stuff like you said. And it's just sad to see how that's flooded a lot of the good intention that was actually involved in it. I hope that one day, we will get a little bit less focused and less like dreamy about financial freedom, because yes, absolutely, it's something that you should want, no doubt about it. But when it becomes to the point where you are so desperate that you're just gonna go after a course to get it, it's that's not how it works, really. And something with that is also college, because everyone's saying college sucks now. Everyone's saying college is a waste of time. I disagree. And for some people, sure, maybe it's not their cup of tea. Maybe they want to try something else. Maybe trade school, whatever. They want to try something different. I get that, but it also helps the people that are going to college now because their degree is going to be more valuable. So hey, I mean, do what you want, man. I'm fine with that. I'll be in college. I'm going to go into business, and my degree might be worth it. But like, still, for people just randomly saying this and influencing their ideas, not everyone's right on online, especially to say that. So, yeah, if you want to go after education, go after it. There's nothing stopping you.
And what I say all the time, especially let's say if I'm going live or yapping away in a video or whatever, anytime I talk about college or anything that has a controversial opinion, I always say, take what I say with a grain of salt, right?
Yeah.
I always say, you don't have to have a degree, but college, the fundamental principle of college is good. It's simply education. It's it's an online course, but it's in person. That's all, that's pretty much what it is. The fundamental concept is good. Where this is where I have an issue with it, then you get a bunch of other people who have issues with it, is when it's pushing an agenda just for a money grab. Which, if you think about it, it's the same process that a lot of course people do. So it's about finding what is right for you. You know, if you find the college that is right for you, it offers the programs that you want, that is going to educate you to do what you want to do, then that is amazing. Go for it. And the same applies with the online course. If you find something that suits what you are needing, something that you're lacking in, and you genuinely believe it's going to help you, then go for it. But you also have to try to see, okay, this college or this course, what is their intentions with me going? Do they really have my best interest? Do they want to help me? Or does it seem like they're just trying to, scrape as much money off of me as they possibly can? And that's what people don't understand. And also, they think just because people have a following on social media that they're credible and that they know what they're talking about.
Right.
I probably don't know what I'm talking about. I just tell people my own thoughts and perspectives on things, my own philosophies, my own thoughts I've created. And then I tell people, hey, you can try implementing it into your life. If it's worked for me, why wouldn't it work for you? And then make your own judgment.
Yeah. And that's so hard nowadays. People don't know how to make their own opinion. And that's something that is just so rare to have. So many people are letting people online just be their ideas, and they take it. They're like, okay, absolutely, let's do it. That's what I'm going to believe now. No one is actually making ideas for themselves. And I mean, part of that is definitely like anything you see online, it's going to influence you in some way. Like the things I talk about was influenced from someone. Things you talk about was influenced someone. But if someone's so gullible to believe all this shit that they see, okay, hold up. Let me go off on a rant here. If my mom's watching this, I'm sorry. But my mom will be on social media, and it's the funniest thing. Recently, she showed me a video of the fakest video I've ever seen. You know the AI things that they have like Elon Musk and saying, well, I'm about to invest in this Bitcoin, so I'm giving away one Bitcoin to every... Dude, she sent that to me. She was like, Elon Musk giving away Bitcoin. I was like, Mom, listen here. it's not real. It's a fake video. It's AI.
It's
And
scary though.
I know it's scary. It's crazy how that can grab people, but I was like, wow. But yeah, some people can be victims to that. They can just believe that. So it's you got to be very careful with it. And I also want to bring up the TikTok ban. What do you think about that?
Oh, dude, it irritates me, but at the same time, at the end of the day, I could care less. So
Right. Yeah, that's the same way for
I
me.
I I'm not stressing about it. However, the principle irritates me. I
Hmm.
personally don't think it should be banned. How how without getting too political, I know not trying to get controversial or come
Yeah.
across as political, but I think you should be
Yeah.
able to say whatever you want and do whatever you want as long as it doesn't harm anybody else. Same way
Yep.
I have the philosophy: nobody can make me mad unless you pose a physical threat. That is the
Hmm.
only time I will ever be negative against anybody in any situation. And I think the same applies to social media and what people can say. I think as long
Hmm.
as you are not posing a physical threat to somebody, I don't think it's an issue.
Yeah.
So I think when they say it's about, oh, well, it's because of this, it's not being censored. America just wants to control what you see. And I mean, at the end of the, I don't blame them. They want to control their population. They're going to want to
Hmm.
control everything that they possibly can. So I look at it from both sides, from both sides. And I think it's stupid. But when TikTok does get banned, something's going to take its place. What I posted on my
Yeah.
story last night, do you guys like TikTok, Reels, or Shorts? And everyone is saying Reels. So either Reels is going to take over, which it kind of already is, or some
Yeah.
other platform is going to get released and it's going to take over. It's not a big deal. Like
Yeah.
people are wigging out about it, and also it's something to talk about. People love talking about conflict rather than positive things. People are
No.
going to focus on the lion rather than the berry bush.
Hmm.
So obviously, everyone's going to be talking about it. It's going to continue to be the talk of the time. But I mean, TikTok specifically, I like the platform. I think it's one of the best. However, and it's a strength but also a weakness. They are very good at adapting. I think
Hmm.
the algorithm changes so much. They're adding in all these new systems such as TikTok Shop, which you can make endless amounts of money off of. It's actually
Yeah.
crazy. I've seen people do it, but at the same time, it's also their weakness because they change it too much. So I
Hmm.
mean, it's good and bad at the same time. But if it gets banned, it gets banned. If it stays, it stays. I mean, something's going to stay. It's you can't unless you delete all social media, you can't remove it. So
Yeah.
the brain rot will still spread.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, to mention TikTok Shop, because I also want to jump to that. I did the math once for one of the products,
Mm-hmm.
that just a random product. I think it was like a water filling thing. Like you press on it and it like spits out water. Um, it was like $5 on TikTok Shop. So I did the math and it had like around, I don't know, a bunch of purchases, but came out to like 32 grand from what that one video and that one product. So I made $32,000 off that. And I mean, TikTok Shop is, I think that's the thing with the band, because so many people use that and make so much money off that. Like that's their business, that's their job, that's what they do, especially businesses that use that. Um, I'm again like you said, I don't care if it gets banned. I really don't. I could not care less because something else is gonna be there. Um, I really think it really depends on how we use it, because me and my dad talked about this, and one word that is ruining our generation with social media is dependency. And we have become so dependent, not on social media as well, but also just on our phones and everything. And yes, I'm gonna go into the grandpa talk about our phones. And I will say, like my dad was bringing this up. He was roasting me, and he was. I mean, it's all. I mean, I get it. It's totally right. He was saying, "Do you think you could get somewhere without using Google Maps, like driving, just using without
Mm-hmm.
using a map instead of pulling out a whole goddamn map to look at?" Like, there's so many things that we're dependent on because of our phones, and sure, it makes life easier, but it makes us much, much more dependent and not independent. That's why, me, I'm about to go to college and I need to learn a shit ton of stuff. I'm not a good cook. I don't know how to fucking cook shit, man. And I gotta learn how to do that. And I think that's gonna be a problem because a lot of kids are going to college now. I have a bunch of friends that are having the exact same issue, that are having trouble with getting independent, that are becoming independent because they're so dependent on other things to help them do it. And they don't actually have to focus on it. They have something else do it for them. Google, giving advice. I mean, we don't have to. I guarantee you, if you compare someone from the 80s and their spelling compared to someone now, it'd be a whole different thing because now we're reliant on spell check. And
Oh yeah, my spelling is atrocious.
I know my spelling's really bad. I'll just type shit and it'll just come up. I'm like, all right, but yeah, I say this because how do you think someone, especially in the young generation who's so dependent, becomes an independent person, can become independent on to themselves, be able to care for themselves instead of depending on others?
So I think it definitely depends on the context.
Mm-hmm.
So if let's say, so I'll use spelling for example. Um, I'm atrocious at spelling. However, anytime I need to type something, it's on a computer. I don't need to write anything anymore. My handwriting
Yeah.
hasn't changed since kindergarten. So that's the exact same.
Yeah.
Um, all right, blanked out. Hold on.
No, you're good.
Cut this part. I completely blanked out. What the?
No,
What was
you're
that? What were we
good.
talking about again?
We were talking about you were talking about spelling and like dependency.
Oh yeah. Okay. 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 Well, I had a point. What was my point? Hold on.
You're good. You're good. It's a tough topic, man, because it's just
No,
I feel like
I had
not
a
many people.
really good point. What was I saying?
Something you were talking
Something.
about, like
Yeah.
your
Oh yeah.
spelling's
Okay. Okay.
atrocious.
Okay. All right. Resume. Okay.
No, you're good.
So my spelling is obviously atrocious. Um, Now let's say uh, one day randomly all technology disappears. Like you don't have access to your phone, you have access to a
Hmm.
computer, all these different things, right? So guess what? You have to write things out by hand, and you have to learn how to spell it. I feel like there's bigger issues to deal with that, rather than
Yeah.
spelling. If
Yeah. Oh yeah.
if society completely lost all access to phones, computers, all that, there'd be a lot more issues than if I can spell or not.
Yeah.
So I think when it comes, yeah, I'm very careful with what I'm dependent on because if I'm dependent on, for example, autocorrect, I don't think that's so bad
Yeah.
compared to my dopamine or what
Right.
entertains me. I think that, because let's say all the internet does go down, right? And I can't watch TikTok or I can't watch Reels or my favorite YouTuber. Then what am I going to do? Because the average person just consumes that content and they just eat it up.
Hmm.
So I think it depends on the context. But now, if you're wanting to become more independent, it's pretty simple as of just stop consuming all that content.
Hmm.
Um, Start doing things with your time. Be productive. Like with me, I'm working 24/7. Whether I'm working on a new product, whether I'm making a video, whether I'm filming a video, whether I'm in meetings with people, I'm in calls. No matter what, whether I'm working out, cleaning the house, I'm always doing something. No, yeah,
Hmm.
sometimes I, will scroll and mindlessly get some brain rot, but it's as long as you're intentional about it. If you're
Yeah.
unintentionally wasting hours on end mindlessly scrolling, then that's when it becomes an issue. But if you are intentional with what you do, you're not you're aware on how you're spending your time, then it's a whole different story because okay, I'm not letting this consume me. I'm not letting it control me. I'm not dependent on it. I'm just choosing to use it because I want to.
Right. Yeah. And it's difficult because there's two kinds of people. It's the person who recognizes what they're wasting their time with and what they're doing that's wrong, and this person that's completely oblivious to it and they don't even realize it. They haven't had that awakening. And that's a difficult place to be. I mean, I used to be in that state where, I would play video games all day and not think there was a problem with that. And now I look back and I'm like, the fuck? Like, why? Why did I do that? And yeah, it's if you can realize that you're having a problem, then you can come up with a solution for it. For me, I had a really bad burnout recently because I'm about to graduate high school. Summer's coming up, and and I was like, I don't have any school. I only go to 4 classes now. I can leave early, and it's just like life's on easy mode. It's downhill from here. It's easy to get in that spot where you're like, oh, I don't need to do anything, And but I also think, I was trying so goddamn hard. I was working at 4 a.m. and all this shit, just trying to achieve so much shit, just trying to do as much as I can. And I started to miss having fun. I started to miss like doing something that I actually enjoy. And I think, there was some influences to that, especially online, saying you need to be the best in your competition. Absolutely, I get that. But you need to have time to enjoy yourself. And that is so hard. Once you get in that focused set mindset, it's so hard to find time to actually just enjoy yourself because your mind is constantly in this cycle of just I need to go, I need to go, I need to go. I'm not going to make it. I'm going to lose it. It's a difficult point to be in. And I say this to anyone listening, um will you achieve results if you grind hard? Absolutely. You will achieve things and you'll be working harder than most people. But you need to find balance. And that's one of the hardest things when you get in that groove, when you get in that locked in mindset, you need to find balance between what's relaxation and what's not. For me, this may be controversial. You may agree with this. I don't know. Um, but I would say it is okay to, watch some entertainment on TV once in a while. It's okay to do stuff like that. It's not okay to, unless it's really bad. Like, I'm not saying, oh, it's okay to have cocaine once in a week. It's okay. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like stuff that you just, simple stuff that any person would like. It's okay to have that. Because once I was in that locked in mindset, I said, I can't watch YouTube anymore. I can't play video games ever in my life. I can't do any of this shit anymore. That's how focused I was. And now I learned how to balance. I learned that, I can play a game with a friend sometimes. I can go, do something else. Like it's hard to, balance that. How have you balanced that? Because I mean, you just said like you're working pretty hard, you're working on a lot of projects. How do you balance that, you know, between
I'd
yeah.
say about 2 months ago, about a month, 2 months ago, I definitely hit that roadblock where it's like, dude, I'm exhausted. I'm tired.
Mhm.
I back whenever COVID hit, that's when, I swapped to online school. And I even after that I had like a year off of school. So that was absolutely amazing.
Mhm.
And I would wake up, I would play video games for like 14 hours straight or like
Yeah.
16 hours straight and just go to bed.
Same.
I had so much fun. Like it
I
was a
know.
blast. I was
Yeah.
screaming, yelling, having a fun. But
Yeah.
or there would be days where I'd be outside all day. I'd be playing with the neighborhood kids. We'd play soccer, hide and seek. I'd go to the park. I'd just have fun and just be a kid, right? But now I've come to realize that I can't do that anymore. Um, and I'd say something that has really helped me or that I've been doing is every night before I go to bed, I meditate. And when I meditate, that's when I feel every single emotion. I'll feel happiness, I'll feel
Right.
sadness, I'll feel emptiness, I'll feel abandonment, I'll feel loneliness, I'll feel anger, frustration, also joy, excitement. I'll feel every type of emotion. And I let it flow and then I think about how this will impact me and, how can I move forward? How can I how can I deal with what's happened in the past and what can I do right now to exist?
Right.
What it, I'll think to myself, okay, what is the thing? What do I need to do tomorrow? Like the second I wake up tomorrow, what is the first thing I need to do? And then I'll think there's just so many different things that go on whenever I meditate. It's really great. Like they should study my brain whenever I meditate because I have some crazy ideas. I go through some crazy
Yeah.
things. It's pretty. I basically am on drugs without doing any drugs. It's pretty crazy. But no, I'd say especially recently, a big nostalgia hit has just hit, and I'm just like, dude, I can't do what I used to do. I can't like with school specifically. So when COVID hit, I dropped out of school. Well, I did not drop out. I graduated, but because of COVID, oh, hold on.
You're good.
Max recording. Okay. Probably cut out some stuff. I might think broke. All right. Anyways,
Oh, you're good.
um, what was it? Okay. Yeah. So because I didn't drop out of school, but when COVID hit, I was back at home all day. I swapped to online school, and I never went back to school. And I could just remember all the nostalgia of being with friends 24/7, seeing the same people every single day, and having fun school events, playing sports, playing soccer, football, track, doing all these fun things, hanging out with the people I care about, just having a good time. And now I watched all the people in my grade graduate, like an in-person graduation, while I was over here just working on mindset, while I was just working and grinding. So I realized I'm never going to get that opportunity again, because if I had the chance to go back to school for like a year, I honestly think I would, just because
Mm-hmm.
of how much nostalgia and memories that I have from it. I think I would go back for a year, and I think I would have a blast with it. But obviously, that's just not how the world works, and I can't do that. So I have to
Mm-hmm.
learn it and come to terms with it. And it's definitely difficult. And you could also apply that with a lot of things as well, such as me living on my own. I've been living on my own for literally a year and 4 months now. So it's almost been a year and a half of me living on my own without living with my parents. My parents are on the other side of the country. I have no family. I don't have, this may sound super sad and depressing, but it's not. I have no like best friend who just, hey, you want to go hang out and do this? All right, cool, we'll do that. I don't have anybody. But it's not a bad thing, because I'm the happiest I've ever been. I'm the most motivated I've ever been. But I definitely have to make sure that I control my mindset, that I control the thoughts that I regularly have because of that. Because for the average person, if they were to go through something like that, the loneliness, the abyss of their own thoughts and all that, they're gonna crumble. But with me, because I have such good templates that I use for my mindset, I'm always on top of things. So I make sure I use meditation as an important tool. And but yeah, no, it's definitely, nostalgia definitely hits a lot. It's like, man, I miss this. I wish I could do that. I wish I could be with this person, X, Y, and Z. But I have to just learn just to move on, because I can't do anything about it. So instead, just focus on how I also view this as well, right? I'm willing to sacrifice my own enjoyment for the better sake of the world. So sure, I'm gonna get burnout, but I can't get burnout. I choose not to get burnout, because I know that I need to do things that are going to allow me to help the world become a better place. And then yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. How do you get into, like, let's say you have something to work on, you want to sit down, like, work on something. How do you just like do that? It maybe sound like a silly question, because I used
Mm-hmm.
to have this trouble, because I'm like, I lack the motivation to just like come to my desk, sit down, and just work and stare at a screen and try to work at something for like hours and hours on end. And I feel like a lot of people have trouble doing that, especially in school. I mean, seeing the people just like they can't focus. How do you get that focus? Like, what is your style or routine to get into that?
So there's definitely, like, there's so many different techniques. There's so many different this and that. What I do is I just get it done. I do the worst first, and then I have fun later. So I'm always like, get it done now and you can have fun later. Do it now and you can get it done later. And I'm halfway joking, but also not. I might be autistic or something. I don't know. But when I tell you, like, I obsess over doing stuff. So for example,
Right.
if I know that, like, when I get super happy and like I get hyper focused and I'm going to get it done. So
Mm-hmm.
let's say it's a big YouTube project I'm editing. I want to film it, I want to get it done, and I want to get it out there as soon as possible. I want to make it the best that it possibly can be. Now I know it's not going to be perfect, and I don't beat myself up about it, but I know how I want to get it done, and I'm very focused. So to get into that zone, I ever since I was a kid, I've understood the concept of delayed gratification. Is even when I eat, let's say Skittles, right? It's so stupid. If I'm eating Skittles, I'll eat my least favorite color first, and then my favorite color last.
Mm.
That way, I enjoy the process. I do the same when I this is where I say I might be autistic. Who knows? But like when I eat my pizza, right? I eat like the small slices first, and then the big slices last. That way, I
Mm-hmm.
like I eat the slices that I want to enjoy. It's such a
Yeah.
weird concept, and if you know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But I have this weird obsession where I understand delayed gratification. And so if there's work that needs to get done, also it depends on what the work is. If let's say it's for my job and I have to finish a project that helps the whole facility operate, I need to get it done then and there. There's no waiting for
Mm-hmm.
that. If it's my own project where I could wait to film this, I could do blah 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 blah. I just have to get it done, and I have to tell myself what is my intention of doing it in the first place. That's a
Mm-hmm.
big thing, is an intention. As I've said like 3 times throughout this podcast, right? My intention whenever I do things is I want them to be done to the best of my ability, and I want to help other people. So if I'm making a video, who cares if I want to film it or edit it or not? I have to do it because of my intention is to help everybody. If I'm creating a product that, like, I'm working on a project right now that is hopefully going to help everybody no matter where you're at in life. If I want to make this product good, I have to have that intention, and I have to carry that intention throughout everything. And I think the same also applies if you're wanting to run a successful business. Is whatever your foundation is built on, keep that foundation, stick to your roots, which is why you have to make sure your roots are strong whenever you start.
Mm.
They have to be strong. If you, as I say, if you start something for the sake of money, you're starting it for the sake of clouds, then that intention will carry on, and people can see that intention. They'll be able to see it, especially the more solidified you get, those roots will become much more apparent. Because the roots, they keep on growing, but they're the same root. Um, so I think when it comes to getting work done, it boils down to intention. So
Yeah. Right. And especially with something like schooling, um, for a lot of people, I could see why they don't want to do it because it's like, I mean, I don't necessarily have a passion for this, but I have to do it anyways. And I get that. And to go to something with, like you said, getting the first task, the biggest task done. Um, Once you get that task done that you've been dreading to do, the just the dopamine hit that you get from that is amazing
it's just
because it's
this
just a weight off
discipline.
your shoulder. Yeah, it's just an easy way to just get that weight gone, and then you have smaller task, and it's hard for people because especially myself because I'm like, oh, I could do this like right now. It'll take like 5 minutes instead of doing this thing that might take 2 hours, and it's hard to do that because so many people are used to the easy way of doing things instead of doing that hard thing, and they don't want to do it. It's simply like naturally we're lazy people. Like naturally, everyone is kind of lazy in some way, especially nowadays. And getting that first task that you don't want to do, it's so hard to get the motivation to do that, and you most likely won't have the motivation to do that. Like you said, unless you have an intention. And it also
Mm-hmm.
connects to, I think everyone says it, you've heard it 1,000 times, you need discipline and to do something you don't want to do. And it's discipline is probably one of the hardest things I think for anyone to develop, regardless of who you are. For me, it's been hard to develop. Some days I might miss something, some days I might not do it, and I think it comes with the acceptance that some days you're gonna have off days, some days you're not going to be disciplined, and that's hard to accept because for me, I get so caught in just having productive days. I want every day to be like at the end of the day, I want to be like, yes, this was a great day. I achieved a lot today. I'm happy with today. I can't wait for tomorrow. That's what I want every night to be. But there's gonna be days where and when I don't have a productive day, I'm like, fuck, bro. I just I just wasted that entire day and I beat myself up after that. And because I hold myself up to a high standard. I really want to hold myself up to a high standard. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but when you're beating yourself up for it, there's a problem. It comes with the acceptance of just accepting the mistakes you made, accepting it and moving on. And that's a hard thing to do is move on, especially when you're not disciplined or don't have that day where you've had discipline.
Yeah, I look back at since I lived on my own, or since I started living on my own, dude, I've made so many dumb purchases. I'm like, dude, I would have had like 3,000 to 4,000 more dollars. Like, but you just learn from it. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but everything I'm putting it to use. Like, I'm thankful for it. But I'm like, I didn't need that. Why did I buy
Mm-hmm.
that? But the thing is I would have never known unless I bought it. And
Yeah.
so when you learn to just do the thing, and then you learn from it, and okay, I learned my lesson, blah blah blah, this and that, and then you can help others do the same. Especially if you don't, I think having a mentor is, or someone to guide you in life is very important. And if you don't have that, then you need to learn from your mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be your own mentor. I used to have a mentor a few years ago, and I learned a lot of stuff from him. And now I mentor myself. I feel as if now the only thing, I'm not saying I know everything, and I could learn a lot from a lot of people about certain subjects, but when it comes to
Okay.
mindset and it comes to discipline, the only person who I can learn from at this point is myself.
Hmm.
And it's because I will learn how I react to certain situations, my habits, my beliefs, the way that I carry myself. I look at how I carry myself, how I act, blah blah blah, this and that, and then I'll change to whatever outcome I want.
Yeah.
Um, and a lot of people don't. Yeah, a lot of people just don't. They don't understand self analysis.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a hard thing too, is self-analysis. And I have it on this paper. You can't really read it because it's literally you can't read it. But um I have a thing there where if I make a mistake or something, I write it down. Oh god. I write it down, and I write what I could do to overcome that, or like a message to myself. This happened. This is the mistake we made. Here's how we're going to get over it. And I recommend that. You don't have to, but it's a good thing. It's
Mm-hmm.
good practice to have, to write that down, and you're just like memorize. And some days you're gonna make the mistake again, but you have the right intention. You have the right goal of getting over that. And yeah, it's so difficult to get over past mistakes and to do things like that. I mean, there's a saying, a man who trips over or over the past is a fool. And it's it's just so difficult because we wish we could do things differently. We wish we could have done this instead. And for someone who holds themselves up to a high standard, I mean, it's hard to get over that. And I would say to people, regardless of who you are, I make mistakes. Coby makes mistakes. Every fucking person does. Everyone. And that's the hardest thing for me to get over, because I'll put these people up and I'll say, like, okay, this person, how are they going to make a mistake? David Goggins, all these people, Tom Brady, whoever. How do they make a mistake? Look at how good they are doing. Look at what they've achieved. How do they make a mistake? But they do. Everyone fucking does. Everyone does. And that's so hard to get, because you see all these people who've achieved great things. You don't know how they're going to make a mistake, but the
And another thing as
mistakes.
well is
Yeah, go ahead.
another thing as well is people only show you the mistakes that they want to show you. So a lot of people you
Yes.
see online, if you compare yourself to them, they're not going to tell you all the mistakes. Like I make a lot of mistakes that are like so like small. Like I say online like a lot of things I screw up in, but there's some things that are too small and random. I'm just not gonna say online because like who asked? Nobody asked you. Get good. But it's
Hmm.
like with certain things, people just aren't going to tell you online. They're not going to tell you mistakes that they've done.
Yeah.
Like you have to learn to just don't compare yourself to other people. Compare yourself to yourself.
Hmm.
How can you improve? Which is
Yes.
another thing is documentation is a very powerful tool. How you said, anytime you make a mistake, you write it down and review it. I journal, I meditate. I do a similar thing where all the mistakes I also similarly write them down.
Hmm.
I have over 110 notes that I actively use in my notes app.
Hmm.
And I have spreadsheets. I'm organized. Another is I guess I might be autistic because apparently being organized makes you that way. That's what a lot of people tell me. I get called that a lot. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's true or not, but
I don't think you're
anyways,
autistic.
um,
I
I
don't
might
think
be.
so.
Um,
No.
what's it called? But documentation, it really is a very powerful thing. Like it really is because
Yeah.
because that's going to show you, okay, that's what you can compare to. Don't
Hmm.
compare yourself to some other random celebrity or athlete or
Yeah.
whoever. Compare yourself to your past self to see if you've improved or not. If you have
Hmm.
improved, something's got to change. If you are improving, keep up the consistency.
Yeah. If you've made improvement and you look back on yourself and something's changed in a positive way, you should be more proud than ever before, because that is one of the greatest things. If you have made improvement, if you have not stayed in the same place or went backwards, that's great. You're doing something right. You're doing something right. Something good is happening. Like, I look back to the person who, you know, had was very skinny. I'm still at an average weight for me, but still, skinnier, and wasn't in good shape or wasn't trying to do these different things. Even having, I will also say this, the fact that you, Coby, have the drive, sets you apart from everyone else. And to the people listening, if you even have the drive, you even listening to this podcast about helping yourself and creating a better you, you are so far ahead than the average person. Most people are not like that. Most people live. They live. That's it. They just live. They don't have any intentions. They don't have any goals, any dreams that they want to follow. A lot of people just are, I hate to say it, but NPCs in some way because they're just floating around. They're in autopilot. And if you have the intention of changing your life, that is so rare. And you should hold that close to you, really. And just having the goal and having the aspirations to achieve something, like, it's a rare thing to have, I will say.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah. And but yeah, I would really recommend to people, try and, not hold yourself too hard. It's okay to like hold yourself accountable sometimes and say I could have done this better. But it happens. I want to jump to what I was talking about earlier. What was I talking about? I was talking about like just seeing people, like all these people that are doing very well and their mistakes. I want to say the mistakes that they made, the mistakes that all these famous people made, David Goggins, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, whoever, that is what made them. And if Michael Jordan, for example, got cut from his high school basketball team, he didn't make it. No, he didn't get cut. Sorry, he didn't make it. He didn't qualify. Um, but now he's the greatest player in the world. He said that the fact that I missed 5,000 shots, game-winning shots, is the reason I made that game-winning shot. And just making the mistakes that these people have, I think the more mistakes they made, the better they came, the better outcome that they had. So I always say embrace the failures that you have, embrace the mistakes that you make, because your life is going to improve. It's going to change, and you're going to have mistakes regardless of who you are. You just need to accept it and embrace them and learn from them. And you'll be going somewhere with that, without a doubt.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. And but yeah, I would also say, when it comes to I want to jump to this as well because I'm jumping around all over the place. But with living
Oh, no, you're good.
alone, with living alone for you, I mean, how is that? Because that's got to be so different, moving from living with your parents or being somewhat dependent on your parents to going out on your own. I got to learn that for sure, and I think a lot of people have to learn that as well coming up.
At this point, I don't ever see myself living with somebody again unless it's like my significant other. I just don't see it happening.
Hmm.
I love my own company. I love, like, for example, like my whole office. I don't know if you can see, but it's like, I don't know. It's just so cool. Like
Yeah.
it's my environment. It's my realm that I've created for myself.
Hmm.
So I don't ever see myself like living with anybody. I don't have to worry about waking somebody up. I could be as loud as I want. I could do whatever I want.
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing. The only downside is how you said, you don't know how to cook. I don't know how to cook. I don't know what I'm doing. I only recently just started buying fruit. I was living off of expired chips for like 3 months straight.
Damn.
But it's like, dude, like that's the only thing that sucks. But at the same time, it teaches you discipline.
Yeah.
I love living on my own, especially the fact that it also puts pressure on me because I have bills I gotta pay. I pay for everything, my
Hmm.
rent, my utilities, my water bill, my electric bill, internet, everything. I gotta pay for it. On top of this, my normal subscriptions, my business expenses, I have to pay for everything. So it sparks that fire. All right, you got to get a move on. Do this, do this, do this, do that, and it keeps me to where even if I get burnout, like okay, I don't feel like doing this. Doesn't fucking matter. You got to keep on going. It doesn't matter. It does not stop. You have to keep
Hmm.
on going because otherwise you're going to be homeless or something's going to happen.
Hmm.
And just that simple concept in itself just pushes me much uh much further than the average person.
Yeah.
um it's just because beforehand, I'm telling you right now, if I was still living with my parents, I would not be doing what I'm doing. I'd be playing video games, dude. I
Yeah.
would not care. I really
Hmm.
wouldn't. And I just say that just because it's the environment that I would have put myself in. I would have I wouldn't have create your existence, plastered in every single room. I wouldn't have, my own clothing. I wouldn't, structure my house to allow me to do cool things. Like I wouldn't have my living room as a gym if I lived with my parents. Like
Hmm.
my house is my favorite place to be at because it allows me to be as creative as I want and do whatever I want. So living on my own is amazing. I definitely recommend that if you're wanting to improve yourself and you're wanting to get yourself out there, go live on your own. Now, obviously, be responsible about it. Have a plan. Don't just I'm gonna go buy a house. You can't just
Yeah.
do that. But go for it because with you going to college, it's gonna be a really good experience for you. I'm just telling you that right now.
Hmm.
Like it's gonna be weird and like there's gonna be like strange things that are gonna happen. Like you're like, oh, it's like I don't like this. I wish I was just back home. Blah blah blah. This and that. But as long as you somehow make your environment like good and it radiates good vibes and positive energy, you're gonna be simple as that. Like every single person who has walked into my house has been like, wow, like it feels fun. Like it's fun. Like it's good vibes. Like it's like I could tell you work hard. Like just the way things are laid out, I could tell you don't play around. Everything's clean. Everything's tidy. You know, it's like I know he means what he preaches. Was it no he I don't know the word. He's not preaches what he does. He does what whatever the fuck the saying is. I don't fucking know.
You
But
live up
yeah.
to your standards. You're
Yes,
truthful
yes.
about it. Yeah.
I talk the talk and I walk the walk. I
Yeah.
don't just do nothing but talk. I actually do the things that I say I do. When I say I meditate, I meditate. When I say I work out,
Hmm.
I work out. I do all these things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Especially with an environment. Environment reflects someone like completely. You can tell from your environment. You have stuff that is in your mindset, and I get that. I also want to jump to what you said because I think that's something that I think a lot of people would need to get into is that you are not saying I don't want to work because you literally need to work. You need to. If you don't, then you might miss a bill or something like that. You necessarily need to. Like you need to. It needs to happen. That makes total sense. I understand why you need to work 24/7 for that because that makes total sense. But yeah, I think I need to because that's something with me. I just work. Sometimes I'll just do it when I want to. I don't necessarily have something holding me to not work. And um, I would say that was a mistake. I'll even go back to I think we talked about this last time. I had one popular video on YouTube, um, which did very well, boosted my channel a bunch, and what I regret it still a lot because I look at it as a wave, like a surfing wave. You're a surfer, and when that wave comes, you need to surf that wave. You can't fall behind. You need to ride it. You need to go with it. And that's something I didn't do because I had that one popular video. I could have ran with that, posted like the next day. I could have been consistent with that, riding that wave. But, I got a little bit laid back. I was like, oh, okay. That was a mistake I made. And I would say to anyone
mhm.
listening, when that wave comes, ride it, because that opportunity is not coming around every once in a while. It comes and goes. And, when that chance comes, you got to take that opportunity and you got to take
Yeah,
every chance you got at it.
best believe the second I get a video that goes like viral, I'm going to milk the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, that's what
I
I'm
I am
saying. Yeah.
going to do everything I can. Oh, you're clout chasing this and that. No, it's just I'm an opportunist. If I see an
Yeah.
opportunity, I'm going to do it because if I ride that wave, it allows me to help a wider range of people. So of course I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to do it. Like so
Yeah.
that's why I have a blindfold on. I'm just throwing darts at a dartboard, hoping something hits a bullseye. The second it does,
Mhm.
okay, how did I throw that? All right,
Yeah.
let's practice that, and then you
Yep.
just keep on doing that, and then see what happens. Like with my most recent content, it's performing a lot better than what my other content did, and it's more, I guess you could say like cinematic, I guess, but it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's cool. I've seen a
Oh
lot of other
yeah.
people do it, and I was like, oh, let me try. Let's see. Let's put my own twist on it, and I love the way it's going. And then my YouTube, I'm gonna be a lot more consistent with that. Hopefully, spark some views off of that. The second something does well, all right, make more with that style, and then go.
Yeah.
Run with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I can tell from the content I've seen from you. It's that I just like that atmosphere, the atmosphere that it has, like with the captions and just everything. It's a cool atmosphere. I definitely like the quality. But yeah, I will say, we're pretty much wrapped up here. Do you have any final messages here for the people? Feel free to plug your stuff. Any future projects coming up that we should be on the lookout for?
Late in May, I have a mini something that I'm gonna be releasing to the public. It's like a little mini project that's gonna be pretty cool. In August, I'm launching a massive project, so I'm excited for that. But instead of promoting that in itself, I'd rather just check out my social medias. Just go follow me on Instagram. It's Coby_go. TikTok's probably gonna get banned. It's not worth promoting that. But on either YouTube or Instagram, it's COBY_GO. Check me out if you think anything that I say, whether it gives you some sort of value, whether I'm just entertaining, whether you think I'm chatting bullshit and I'm stupid, or whether I'm actually able to help and give you good advice. No matter what the case is, if I provide you with some sort of positive feeling, feel free to check me out. I post tons of content. I try to be as interactive as possible, and yeah, I appreciate for being here, and I'm very grateful for the abundance that the universe blesses me with. So
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for watching. Go check out Coby if you haven't already. And yeah, it's been a pleasure. I hope this episode helped you gain something in some way, or maybe it was just entertaining and you had a chuckle. I don't know. But yeah, it was a pleasure. Coby, thanks for coming on, and we'll see you next time. Hopefully soon. Maybe not. Tell the people on Instagram to message me back. All right? Peace.